Welcome to Screen Riot. This week's movie is Serpico, a crime film from 1973. This episode will contain major spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, it's available to stream on Showtime or Cinemax, and available to rent on all the major streaming services. Go check it out and come back to the podcast because this is Screen Riot.
Welcome to Screen Riot, the podcast where we review movies chosen entirely by fate. If you're having difficulties to watch, then this might be the podcast for you. I'm one of the hosts, Justin, and alongside me are Eddie, Kyle, John, somewhere around here. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we'd really appreciate it if you would click the like button so that we can help spread this video out to more people all over YouTube, because that's what we're trying to do here. So, like John said in the opening, we're going to be taking a look at the movie Serpico from 1973. It's rated R, and it is a runtime of 2 hours and 10 minutes, and it was directed by the late Sidney Lumet. So, John, since this was your movie, why don't you go ahead and tell us what Serpico is all about?
So, Serpico is based on a real person, Frank Serpico, who was a cop in the early 1960s and 70s in New York City. And once he graduates from the academy and gets into police work, he realizes that the majority of the police officers that he's around are corrupt, and he is sort of a hero type personality, and he wants to do the right thing, and he ends up taking down the corruption over the years that he's there, by sacrificing himself, basically putting himself in danger in order to get the corruption stopped.
Yep,
Nice.
That's basically it.
Hero personality. We're gonna have to talk about that, John. I don't know if I agree with the hero personality piece. The rest of it's 100% true.
Reluctant hero.
Reluctant.
Yeah,
Why,
he's
what's-
reluctant.
All right, let's spill it, Eddie. What's beef with Hero?
He doesn't want to be the hero. He doesn't actually want to put his balls on the line. He's trying his best for like 5 years to stay out of the limelight, to not do the grand jury and not testify in front of the grand jury. And in real life, forgetting the movie for a second, in real life, the people that he was reporting to were apparently so pissed off the fact that he wouldn't go on the record and actually say something that they almost dropped the whole thing multiple times because he wouldn't be the hero and actually step forward and do something.
Who the hell do you think you are trying to pull that no testifying bullshit on me?
Chief Green, I know your reputation. Look, maybe if you were borough commander when this thing started, run this investigation yourself, I feel different about testifying.
It wasn't until they shot him that he was willing to just be like, fuck it, I guess this is what we're going to do now. So I don't
They
know.
didn't shoot him.
Well, you're right. Until they let him
Some
get
drug
shot.
dealers did.
Well,
And
that's
they
just-
saw him get shot, and they're like, "Well,
Yeah.
you knew
Well,
what
and
was
I mean-
happening."
And
Go ahead,
that's the crux of the story. That's why he's the reluctant hero in this, is because he did not want to put him. He was willing to gather the evidence and to say, hey, look, this is where you need to look, but do your own damn investigation instead of putting me on the line and because they're not going to come after the captain and this person in IA and all that. They're going to come after me and kill me.
No, I agree with you.
And I totally I can totally see put myself in his shoes, being like, okay, yeah, you know what? This is my ass on the line.
Well, and see, the thing is, I agree with you. When I think of the word hero, I think the hero does put himself on the line. I don't think that
He ended up doing it. It's just he reluctantly did it.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
He didn't mean to
did.
get shot.
Well, I mean, it's like it's similar to a couple of Clint Eastwood films. You know, he rides into town, the loner.
Yep.
And he sees the corruption, the corrupt town, and the townspeople are all, there's nothing I can do, there's nothing I can do. But he's like, I don't care what you people do, I'm just going to water my horse and stay the night, and I'm going to go away.
He doesn't want to get
But then he
involved.
reluctantly gets involved because something pisses him off,
Yeah.
and he's a reluctant hero.
I don't know. I have a weird take on Frank Serpico. He seemed. I mean, I respect what he did. I respect that he actually tried to pull out or to show the corruption and stuff like that. I respect that. But there's a large part of me that just thinks, I don't know. It seems like he became a cop in the late 50s. The 60s happened. He became a hippie, and he was like, oh shit, I don't really want to be a cop anymore. And then just kind of did this weird thing where he became a hippie. I don't know. there's something about him that seems very strange. Because even in making this movie, I found out the director and him argued like 90% of the time because the director was like trying to show more about him, like the hippie going to the parties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Serpico didn't want any of that in the film. And he's like, well, I think it's kind of important to show what kind of frame of mind you were in. And apparently Serpico eventually left the film and walked off the film because he didn't want to show certain aspects. I thought that was interesting. I don't know.
Well,
there's
apparently
kinda weird.
Serpico didn't actually really like Pacino. Like,
Yeah, he didn't like
playing
Pacino
him.
as him
He's just
either,
like, yeah, Pacino's going to be Pacino. He's going to act like Pacino. And he's like, that's not me.
See, that's
So-
interesting because I've heard a little bit different retelling. I've heard that Serpico wanted to be on set, but the producer thought that he would hinder performance with him being on set, so he denied his pass.
Gotcha.
See, and I heard something different.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Um,
see,
'cause,
this
yeah,
is
I
all
watched
crowded in.
I watched the did any of you guys watch the latest I believe it was on Netflix, the actual Serpico documentary?
No.
I have
It's
not. No.
it's at best a couple of years old.
Okay.
But there was a story in there where he was complaining about somehow this didn't happen this way and this or the other, and Sidney LeMay just said, you know what, screw you, get off my set, you're no longer allowed here, go away.
Jeez.
So
Wow.
yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
and I mean, to me it's a classic case of someone who isn't in the movies,
yeah.
not understanding that your life is awesome, but we need to actually have it be entertaining as well.
Yeah.
And we can't put everything in exactly like it happened. For instance, the scene where Serpico's laying in the hospital room and he's talking to John Randolph, and John Randolph gives him his detective badge.
Yeah.
That didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
In reality, he got his detective badge. Like, he actually won the Medal of Honor, the police officer's Medal of Honor or whatever. They didn't have a ceremony for him. They just he got back to work and they handed it over that police counter in the movies. They handed him that. He handed him his Medal of Honor and his detective badge and said, "All right, go back to work."
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's very
because,
unceremonious.
Well, they're probably still salty as hell
Oh yeah.
because now they're not making extra cash.
Well, I mean, and those guys, in the narcotics unit, what did they say? They were pulling in 120,000 a week.
Last week, one dope dealer sent out these guys making pickups, 40,000 each. We let them collect it all and then hit them. 120,000 split 4 ways. That's serious money.
Still,
So-
loads of cash.
Yeah.
So if we can, let's go ahead and jump into the movie part of this then. John, let me ask you a question because I'm curious your thoughts on this. The beginning, well, not even beginning. It's really throughout the whole movie. Do you know when this movie starts taking, like, what the year is that it actually starts? Not when he gets shot per se. I mean, you can start there if you want, but like
Where he
when
graduates the academy.
Yeah, like when he graduates the academy.
I don't know the exact year, but based on what those little snippets that I've read of it, it's in the early 60s.
Okay, so forgetting what you read though, that's my question. For me, when I was watching the movie, it was really hard for me to follow time. The only way I knew that time was passing was Al Pacino's facial hair.
Yeah,
Like
that
depending
was
on
that
what
was
length
what
his facial
did it
hair
for me.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what I followed too. I was like, okay, he doesn't have any facial hair, and then he gets scruffier as
Yeah,
the
he
film, as the
Yeah.
film goes.
Yeah, and his
time
costume
goes.
changes. It evolves. And also, one thing I also noticed while watching the movie is his apartment decoration. Like, the production design changes,
Yeah.
too, over time.
It becomes more lived in and all that kind
Yes.
of stuff. Yeah.
So I believe he graduated the academy in 1959.
Okay.
Wow.
So he graduated in 1959, and he left the police force in 71, I think, or 72. So this
72,
takes,
I believe.
So,
yeah.
so this takes place over 13 years.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so that I could not fucking tell from the movie. It drove me insane because I was like, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go out for this fingerprinting thing, and then, I'm going to do this. It takes about 2 years. And then they jump and they're like, hey, I've been working here for 6 months. And I'm like, wait, really? Like, fuck, like that was, that was so quick. I'm like, what just took place?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was looking at his facial hair. I was looking at the costumes, his costumes that he was wearing. I was looking at his car that he was driving.
Yeah.
stuff like that to kind of say, okay, it's about this time period, because there's some scenes in there, like especially right outside the hospital, where I mean it looks definite 80s,
Yeah.
and 1980s type scene,
Yeah. Yeah. It's not.
but it wasn't 80s at all.
No.
No. Well, I mean, the movie was made in what, 73?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I
It
mean,
actually said, I think at the very end, as of like 1972 or something like that, he's over in Switzerland
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
he
my
left.
gosh, this was like literally a year after like he had retired or something like that, and gone over to Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
and-
obviously he's back in the States now, but yeah, I would kind of do the same thing. I'd be like, yeah, bye, peace. I'm out.
Is he
for
back
a
in the
while.
States now, or is he
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Canada?
No, he's
Yeah.
in New York.
Oh, I thought he was in Canada. For
Like
some
upper
reason.
New York or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Living off the grid or something.
You know,
I don't know.
speaking of the time, that was one thing that I did and really enjoy about the movie was Pacino's appearance. Like I loved the character design of where he got scruffier, his beard got crazy, Birdman John beard, and sorry, John, had to. But his appearance just got crazy, which I enjoyed that. And the other thing that actually made me laugh was his weird costumes that he randomly showed up in. Like one time he was like a Hasidic Jew. He just started walking in.
I had to
that was
pause it.
hilarious.
I had to pause it because he was in a rush or something like that. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, wait a minute, was that him? What is he doing?
Yeah,
Is he
there was
like
some-
walking the beat down in off of 6th Avenue or something like that in downtown Manhattan?
There were definitely
gotta
some
do what
you
crazy
gotta do.
That was
plain
crazy.
clothes, costumes. Yeah,
He's
there
a
were some funny
butcher,
ones.
newspaper boy or something. I don't know. I think the funniest part was when he got the mobster, and he took him down to the station. And of course, the guys are like, it's not your first thing. You get paid, or we get paid by you. Blah blah blah. And then he's like, get over here. And he's like, what? And he's like, you don't tell me what to do. And he's like, no, empty your pockets. And then he just goes berserk. Absolute berserk. Almost rips the pants off of this guy.
He did.
And-
His ass was shown for a few seconds.
I was like, oh my god, this dude. I don't know if this was like scripted or like he was just like, hey, whatever I do, just go with it, and we're gonna have fun, right?
Get over here and empty your pockets.
I don't do that.
You're my prisoner. You do what I tell you to do. Get over here.
He's gonna get nasty about it.
Well, I know a lot of stuff was. Yeah, I guess he could have yelled that.
Well, he did.
It's
It
what
was
I'm referring to
hilarious.
as the pseudo rape scene. Yes.
Yes,
that was
yeah,
The
it
pseudo
was-
rape scene. Yeah.
It was. I was like, oh, okay, so this is where Pacino goes Pacino. Cool.
Yeah. Well,
There we
I
go.
know Lumet likes to deal with a little bit of ad libbing. So
Okay.
I know that there was a lot of stuff in here that was ad libbed.
Yeah.
So that might have been one of the scenes.
It had to have been because I mean that you couldn't have scripted that.
Yeah, I mean, because he went, Al Pacino heat.
Yeah, he went crazy. Yeah, he did.
He went crazy. Which I was actually like really surprised that Pacino didn't really go to Pacino a whole lot in this movie. He was very mild throughout the whole, like the majority of it, probably 90% of it.
I don't know. I felt he
Mealy-mouthed.
screamed a lot.
Oh,
Huh?
see, I felt like he was mealy mouthed the whole time. He's like, listen,
Yeah, he was very
Captain,
calm.
Captain, can I talk to you about something real quick, Captain? Like,
He's
it
not
was like,
this. He's not
ugh.
this huge brass, dude, just like hoo-ah type guy. And, he's just kind of. I kind of know my place, but when he does get angry, yeah, he goes from 0 to 90 in a heartbeat.
When he got the two. Okay, so when I say the pseudo rape scene, I'm talking about the mobster guy you were talking about. When I
Yeah.
say the
Right.
rape scene, it's of the black girl in the alley.
Oh, yeah.
with
Right,
the three
yeah.
guys, which was fucking.
That was
way
wild.
Yeah.
way too raw for me. But when he catches the two guys at the park, like the
Yeah.
next couple days or something, I don't fucking know time because there's no way to know. So sometime in the next week, he catches those guys. That scene was pretty cool. The way he caught them and went kind of nuts with them, etc. I like that part too. But
Well, and kind of funny aside to that is he actually did get in trouble for something similar to that.
oh really?
Yeah, he did something similar in real life, but what pissed everybody off was that he was off duty when he did it. It's like he saw the guys, they weren't in his precinct, they weren't on his beat, but he went ahead and got him anyway, and they got pissed off.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's like rather than just be happy that they got 2 guys off the street, it's like, oh no, that was ours. Well, why are you doing it in our territory? It's like, you guys work for the same company, man. What's the problem?
Shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up one more complaint. This is kind
Just
of
one?
minor, but yeah, well, it's kind of minor, but it's kind of a major one. The girl,
Yes.
Which one?
Which one?
exactly. And when did she change? Like, it was very weird the way that he goes from like dating the party girl, is the way I could describe her. Like, she goes to she takes him to
She's
the club.
very carefree.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
carefree art one. And then he starts dating the doctor, basically, right? She works for the hospital in some regard.
Yeah.
But the way they make that switch, we never see him leave the other girl.
Yeah, we
and
do.
we just
Oh yeah. They had an
Yeah, there's
intimate bath scene.
a whole thing about it, man.
There's an
When was
intimate
there a s-
bathroom scene, like they're in a bathtub together and they're
I
talking
saw
about
that.
their future.
She was giving him the ultimatum: either
Yeah.
marry me now, or I'm going to go marry this guy.
right, and
Yeah.
so she's
So-
like,
Yeah.
"I'm out."
Yeah.
And
Because
then
I'm marrying him in 2 months or something like that.
Yeah,
okay.
it's
So
like
we're
I
just-
wasn't invited
So
to
then
the
it just
wedding.
it just smash cuts, and you as the audience you go, okay, well she's gone.
Yeah, I'm done with that. And then he's
that's my
out there
thing, is
having
that-
coffee.
That felt very quick. Yeah, exactly. He's having coffee. He meets that girl in the backyard, and then they're
Yeah.
together. And I don't know, that part. I didn't like the way that they transitioned that. It was too fast for me. I had trouble because the other girl kind of, sort of looked like the first girl, sort of. Like, enough that I was like, wait, is this the same girl? Like, it took me 2 seconds to fucking figure out it wasn't the same girl. I was like, Jesus.
He's got a type.
Yeah.
But
He's got
but
a
I mean,
type.
I didn't
Yeah.
really like the relationship part. I didn't mind the first girl. Apparently this guy in real life has been married a lot.
Yeah,
I
like
guess
4 times.
four times or
4
something like
times,
that.
I think, yeah.
I get
but
the
the
feeling
second
he's kind of
girl-
an ass, but that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's
He's
just
a
committed
free
to his
spirit.
job and all that kind of stuff. But anyway,
Well, I mean, he's still like the same person. Like, he's just
Yeah.
like, well, yeah, I'm like, in the I'm 60. I'm 85, but I'm stuck in the 60s.
yeah, I'm
you know,
in my
he's
Here,
prime.
here,
Family.
here's my leather Western tassel jacket.
Jesus Christ.
I'm in
Yeah.
my prime. But I didn't like their scenes together. It was more like, he just constantly, whenever they were on screen together, he was constantly bitching about the Force and how they're corrupt. And then she was just like, I just want to have, relationship time. And then
I'd
it's
leave
just,
him too.
And I'm like, okay,
Well,
do something.
Let's get out of here for a while, huh, honey? Let's go to a movie. and
Will you
take a
quit
walk.
handling me? What are you doing? Go to a movie. How am I going to go to a movie? You know they'd kill me if they knew. Do you know that? You think that hasn't happened?
Either you're exploding or you're lying around like a catatonic.
I'm with you. I wish they had just cut out all of his relationships and just stayed with the police force. But I
Yes.
think what they were trying to do was show that it like pervaded his entire life.
Right, it was in his
That being
personal
said-
life as well. Yeah.
I don't think that was necessary. I would have cut 30 minutes out of the movie and gotten rid of all the fucking relationship
Yeah, because
stuff
into
completely.
my notion, when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, how does he get shot?
Yeah.
How does he
Oh
get
yeah,
shot?
yeah. You're trying to
How
think
does
about
he
that the
get
whole
shot?
time.
I'm like, where's this shooting happen? Because I'm thinking, okay, does it happen here? No. Yeah, he's just having an argument with his girlfriend for the 15th time. Does it happen here? No. Never mind. Okay.
I know. I was doing the same thing through the movie. I was actually paying more attention to his wardrobe.
Yeah.
Looking for the same clothes that he
yeah,
was
yeah.
shot in. So I was like, okay, is this the day that he gets shot? That kind of thing.
By the half of the movie or something like that, he's always wearing those kind of clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, it got kind of hard to tell.
And I don't know if they shot it in the same place, but I know the documentary that I watched a few weeks ago, that hallway looked pretty darn spot on. So they might have even shot that in the exact same spot,
Interesting.
which
Yeah.
I thought was kind of cool. that
Yeah,
they did that.
so
They were able to do that.
Kyle and Eddie, I'm kind of with you guys on the relationship stuff. I didn't mind the second girl too much. I thought the first girl was totally unneeded.
Yeah.
I like the scene where he's at the party. And the reason is because they show him talking to all these different types of people. So it's like kind of showing like he has a knack for doing undercover stuff. Like he can change
do
his
a lot of small talk.
personality
Yeah.
to fit whoever he's talking to.
Yeah.
You know, and that comes across really well, I think. But the whole reason he's there is because he's with the girl who likes to go to parties. Cut all that out. Just have him go to a party. It doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a block party. You know, they
That's
had
why I
those
didn't
back in the
really.
60s.
Yeah, that's why I didn't really mind the first relationship, just because you did get to see a lot of his actions and his movements around people. And then I think that's when he got the idea of, well, we need to actually be like within the crowd, not in a uniform, you know, on another level or something like that. And we need to be infiltrating the crowd and be one of them. So I think that was important. But yeah.
I think the trying to compress what do we say, 12 to 13 years of this guy's life, trying to compress.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to do, and yeah, the guy's been married 4 times. Like, do you cut it out or not? But I think I would opt on tighter is better. So, yeah.
One thing, I don't know if you guys did changing gears. I don't know if you guys did any research on this. I simply ran out of time. But the scene where they're all in the meeting at the precinct and they're handing out joints for the cops to smoke.
Yeah.
What did they really used to do that?
Yeah,
Probably.
Like, did they like here you go? We want you to do this. I mean, that would be like unheard of.
Here's some
today.
cocaine, fellas. Yeah.
Yeah, we want you to know the effects.
I mean,
Okay,
that's
my
how
heart will
like
explode now.
that's how fake Joe Piscopo probably got into drugs.
Oh,
Is
is
when
that
this
what it
movie. That guy reminded me of Joe Piscopo.
Hey, this is real good shit.
A little bit.
I don't know the cinematography of like that scene and some of the other ones that were kind of, I don't want to say more mundane, but kind of more mundane. I don't know. I like the 70s cinematography, so I like the way that, you know,
It's gritty.
Yeah, it's gritty and it's done from like a fairly realistic stance. Like, they didn't get too fancy. It was kind of like, okay, we're gonna show this guy and he's gonna run around this corner, and then we're gonna, then he's gonna snap, and we're gonna see him running from the opposite direction. We're gonna see him because he just rounded that corner. So here he comes. He's running down the platform now. Like, I don't know. I don't mind the 70s.
You definitely
the 70s
don't
like
see
that.
a whole lot of movement. Like, you don't see a whole lot of trucking. It's like, hey, let's plop the sticks down. Let's film what we got. And if they run away, then we stay here. They run that way.
They run away. Yeah.
They run away. And I'm like, wait, did he catch him? Okay. The smash cut to tackling or something like that.
Yeah, or he jumps over the railing and then they smash cut to here he comes off of the railing and down to the ground, that kind of thing. I don't know. I still kind of like I like that stuff personally, but
it's a pretty nice effect.
But
my only beef with the cinematography was the use of extreme close-ups on faces.
There were quite a few.
There were quite a few of those, and like I can understand some close-ups with Pacino. And his, I mean, you can't see anything except for his nose and his eyes a lot of time because it's, he's all scruffy. So, I mean, it's just, an extreme close-up would be needed so you could actually see what his thoughts are maybe in the scene. But, like, whenever he was in that, what they call it, there was like the courtroom, the courthouse, whenever he was out in the middle of the park with the rest of the cops.
Yeah.
And they were grilling him about, what happened to your money that you were supposed to get that you didn't take and all this stuff. It was like extreme. And I'm like, okay, I get it. They're standing around him in a circle. I get it. He's in an enclosed space.
Well, yeah, they're supposed to be closing in on him psychologically.
Yeah.
So that's, it makes sense.
And what's funny to me about that scene in particular, John, is how the movie looks in that scene. Because the guys are wearing like the plainclothes stuff. So the guy's got like the bowler hat with the sides flipped up, and he's got like.
It looks like they were trying to go to a Halloween party or something.
Yeah, I was like, what? Oh, it's the hobo and the pimp and the fisherman. Oh, okay. Like, it's
I am
these
a
guys.
butcher.
And they're all three like in the shot like this. It's so B movie. I'm like, wow, that's not a good one. That shot's not good.
I left my sledgehammer in the car, but I'm a construction worker.
Oh man, that scene in particular. I've got a petty thing. This is very petty, okay? And apparently it's true. He was called Paco. Okay, that was like his nickname. Mm-hmm. I fucking hate that. It drives me insane. I didn't like it in the movie when they're like, so should I call you Paco or Frankie? And I'm like, call him fucking Frankie. He's Italian. Nope. He goes by Paco because he took some Spanish lessons.
Yeah. Isn't Paco Spanish for Francisco?
Paco?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe,
I have no
but I
idea.
just don't like it. I just it made my skin crawl. Every time somebody called him Paco, I fucking wanted to punch the screen. It's a petty thing. I'm telling you now, I admit completely it's petty. It just was driving me insane. Then
Yeah, you're
once
right,
you-
Justin.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
It's a Spanish nickname for Francisco.
Okay.
There you go. Great. I still don't like it. It irked me.
Well, at least it has-
just irked me.
It has more of a link than you thought it did, I guess.
I'm with you. It just
Yeah, but
irked
his
me.
name isn't Francisco. It's Serpico.
Well, it's Frank.
It's Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Frank. I don't know. Like I said, petty thing, but it drove me nuts. So
Gotcha.
Anyway.
Well, what'd you guys? Well, speaking of Al Pacino, what'd you guys think of our leading guy here?
he was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
coming right off of The Godfather. Because the Godfather was in 72.
And then I think Dog Day Afternoon was like what 75-ish, I think.
Yeah.
So a
now,
couple years after this.
obviously, the film The Godfather was way better than this film. Pacino definitely took some of that what he had in The Godfather and brought it into here. I don't know, it was almost like, I guess, just because they were so close together in years that it looked like this is a subplot of The Godfather.
Well, I expect
In a
every
way.
time they could be like Fredo.
Yeah,
Start
Fredo.
talking,
There were
same
two.
tone,
There were two
Yeah,
scenes
yeah.
that stood out for me. Was when he was in the hospital and with the what's his name that was giving him the shield.
John Randolph.
Oh,
Yeah, John Reynolds.
Yeah.
That scene I really enjoyed. The other one that I actually liked was when he was chasing the guy who stole something from that apartment, and the cops almost shoot him.
Oh, yeah.
That whole section there, I really enjoyed.
That interaction was funny as shit.
Yeah, A, because
he
it was
looked-
funny, but
he
also
looked-
because
Ultra scared.
yeah, but also because I like the follow up behind that is because the beat cop was like, hey, let us take this one, like, and then Pacino, like his look, you could just tell like how pissed off he was.
Oh, yeah.
Of giving them this this collar that they kept calling it.
You want the collar, huh? You don't want to fill out forms, right? You're a buddy. Oh, I'm a buddy. Only you tell Token I gave it to you.
But yeah, those two scenes stood out for me.
I like those two, and I really liked going away from Pacino a little bit. But John Randolph, whenever they were having their meetings, their secret meetings of the team, when
Is
John
this the
Randolph,
uncircumcised shamrock?
yes,
Yes, the
made me
uncircumcised
laugh.
shamrock between my legs. I was like, oh shit.
I got a new
Oh,
nickname.
man.
Friends. And I fought my way up as a Jew in a Department of Days. You're supposed to have an uncircumcised shamrock between your legs. I have this nightmare. I'm on Fifth Avenue watching the St. Patrick's Day parade, and I have a coronary and 9,000 cops march happily over my body.
But I haven't, and I'll be honest. I mean, I really like John Randolph, but there's only a handful of things that I've seen him in, and that scene. This is my first time watching Serpico, and I was like, yeah, that's right. Get him, act. You can act, man. That was really good.
I was surprised to see F. Murray Abraham in here too.
See, and yeah, I agree with you. There was those guys. Okay, that group of guys that John's talking about and that you're talking about, Justin. I really wish that they had cut the relationship shit and spent more time on that group, because when that group goes to the commissioner or whoever it was, I can't remember who it was, like the mayor
Or the mayor,
DA,
yeah.
whatever that guy was, and they were like, well, he said that he's been talking to this captain for a year and a half, and the guy goes like, no, I don't know what he's talking about. That one scene, I'm like, fuck, that's really pivotal, and it's like less than a minute. Like, it's so quick. They're in and out of that office, and I'm like, shit, that I would have loved to have known more of, maybe had those guys talk. Like, did they ever talk about this? I wish we had spent more time with that team and seen more of them as opposed to the relationship stuff.
I think that would happen if they would make the movie now. If they make
agree
the
with
movie
you.
nowadays,
Yeah, probably.
it would be more of like a Law and Order style, where you would see him at the beginning and the corruption was happening, and he just blew his, he finally was like, okay, I'm done, and it's like, okay, now we're going to go into the investigation / prosecution piece of it. And there'd probably been a lot more of the not the NORAD committee, I forget what the the committee it was that they opened up the actual investigation. There probably would have been a lot of that. There probably been some of that too.
Isn't it the Knapp Commission?
Yeah, that's it. Knapp. Yeah, thank you.
Knapp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A side note about that scene when he gets mad and he leaves, and they do that that trucking shot of all those women at the typewriters, and the typewriters are just so loud.
It may be possible to take another look at the situation. All right.
Oh man, I like that because it just shows like he's getting buried by bureaucracy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Psychologically, those typewriters are so loud as he's walking. You can't even hear footsteps. All you hear is not Joe Piscopo yelling at him over typewriters. So
it really sucks because you're right, and that's something that I think this movie does really, really good things like that, and then really, really bad things, like just stuff that I'm like, it's just subpar on a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like I said, the relationship shit to me, I understand what John's saying, where it's kind of a victim of its own time at that, with that stuff. Because had it been like I'm gonna say a civil action with John Travolta, or Whistleblower with Danny DeVito and Matt Damon, or A Few Good Men, Tom Cruise and everybody in that, like those are good, lawyer type dramas that we can sit through. They may not be amazing, but we can sit through them. There's nothing bad about them. This could have easily have fallen into a category like that, and maybe even been at the top of that category. But I feel like there's some of the stuff that they do that just is laughable. I mean, we shouldn't be laughing in a drama like this.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Full-on laughed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like throughout the movie, I'm like, there are a ton of great one-liners. Like when he was buying that pistol, the semi-auto pistol, and the guy's like, "It's got a 14-round clip. Are you expecting an army?"
That takes a 14-shot clip. You expecting an army?
No, just a division.
And I'm
that's a good line.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's great.
And I'm like, yes. It's like clapping and everything. I'm like, wait, this is not supposed to be funny. This is actually supposed to be, he's getting this for protection, like he's actually out there to save his life. But here I am laughing my ass off just because of what he says.
That's a fine scene to put in a comedic break point to kind of break things up a little bit. I don't have a problem with that. But anyway, Kyle, do you have financial stuff for all this?
Surprisingly, this only cost $3 million to make.
Really?
What?
$3 million, according to IMDb.
In 1973, right? It's got to be 1973
Probably.
dollars.
Yeah, so it's probably $3 million in there. But the gross worldwide, it definitely made its money back at $29.8 million. Wow. So this was a pretty good payday for them. So, probably just because of Pacino.
Probably.
Jesus, I can't even imagine $3 million. I'm wondering what they could have done, because there was I guess there's no special effects in it. It's all character driven. The most money was probably spent on like Al Pacino's like costuming.
Locations.
Yeah, but that's the costuming wasn't hardly anything either.
Well,
there's a shitload of locations in this.
Yeah, there's a lot of locations, and then depending on whether they, because we all know that movie studios, create fictitious companies for their productions, right? So how much did the studio decide to charge the fictitious company for renting the film, the film camera? How much did they charge them for the film they were buying, and stuff like that?
Okay.
So they could theoretically do a lot of movies cheaper, but they want more. They want to. Oh, we spent X amount of money on it, type thing. Or if they had to go out to different facilities at that point, there wasn't a lot of CGI attempted. Wasn't any CGI in this film to go outsource. Right to outsource it. So
I'd say the majority.
I could see him making it for that.
Yeah, I'd say the majority of the money went to the actors and renting or blocking off space on roads.
Yeah. They damn sure didn't clean up anything. They didn't clean up the streets or
they didn't have to.
anything like that. No, that was the beauty of it. It's
Al Pacino tried. That's what the whole movie's about.
He's cleaning up the streets.
He tried to clean up the forest. Screw the streets. He tried to clean up the forest. God. That's what it was.
I just want to point out, by the way, it's spreading. Justin's now making horrible dad jokes.
Yeah, that is pretty bad.
Hey, this is real good shit.
So, John, since this was your movie, let's go ahead and let's start scoring here.
Okay. I like I said at the top of the show, Serpico. It reminds me of the reluctant hero type, similar to Clint Eastwood. So some of those Clint Eastwood westerns. I really like that this movie's based on a true story, and from what I can tell, the majority of it is pretty close to what actually happened. There's things that have been changed and embellished, but it's not a Hidden Figures. It is not.
I knew you were going to bring that shit up.
It is not that. So the story itself is mostly true. The original script was signed off by Frank Serpico. The directors changed some scenes, but other than that, I think it stuck pretty well to the actual facts. I think Pacino did a great job, even though he was definitely Pacino. I like the fact that after Godfather, he didn't fall into the trap that that the studios probably wanted him to do. Was that, okay, you're really popular, so we're now going to cast you as a heartthrob. We're going to say, okay, these are the movies that we want you in because they're going to make a lot of money for you and all this stuff. He's like, no, we would not have movies like Serpico and Dog Day Afternoon if he would have went down that path, or even Heat for that matter.
Yeah, true.
So I'm glad that he stuck to his guns and said, I'm going to make films that I actually want to make. So I enjoyed watching, John Randolph and Alan North, James Tolkan. I enjoyed seeing those guys in the film. I think they should have went with a more operatic score, though. I don't think sticking to the stereotypical Italian score did this movie any favors. I think they should probably have tried to go, okay, Serpico's kind of this new aged Italian guy where he's more into opera and plays and stuff like that. Yeah. Right? Yeah, maybe some sitar or something in there, So I mean that's my only beef with the soundtrack and cinematography. That my only issue was the close-ups. They were just a lot of them were too extreme for me. But I can understand some of those with Serpico, but the others, the other folks, I think they were just overdone. I originally came in with a slightly higher score than what I'm going to give it. But based on our discussions and things that Eddie and Justin made me look at there, I'm going to give this one a 6.8.
Okay, a 6.8 for John. Yeah, so I didn't really enjoy the movie. It felt really repetitive to me, and I just don't like repetitiveness. Like some things, like I said, I like Al Pacino in this. I really like his character design, where we see actually him progressing through the movie, through the time period. I'm just, I don't know. I think it's worth a watch, but I don't think I would rewatch it. This is actually my second time watching it, now that I think about it. But the first time was so long ago, it was like brand new to me. I think I'm going to give it a 5. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Eddie?
yeah, so John, thanks for bringing up the music, by the way. We forgot to talk about that. I hated the music. Like, it was one part of the movie that I was like, shit. Every time they came in with that, like you said, stereotypical pizzeria soundtrack, I was like, fuck, could they not find anything else to play right here? I mean, even popular music, throw in some 1960s, whatever, and have a show, oh, it's changing with the times, to show some kind of time passage instead of
that would have been a good idea. Yeah.
Something, right? But no, they just went with the old world, crazy guitar. And, yeah, I was like, jeez, it was a step away from that. I was like, come on. Anyway, but yeah, between that, the time passage issues for me, the cinematography, I liked. I mean, I like the 70s. I like a lot, I like a lot of 70s movies, but this one, it just, I don't know. It doesn't. It feels like they try to tell two different stories, and they try to get it all into this, 2.5 hour movie, 2 hour movie, and it still doesn't. It didn't come across feeling. It felt incredibly connected, and yet somehow it doesn't. You know what I mean? It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's not my favorite movie from the 70s. That's all I can say. I like Al Pacino's acting. I do. I just think he does a great job. I don't think I like the actual Frank Serpico very much. I'm glad he exposed corruption, but I don't think we would get along. I don't know why. If that's how he is, if he's just this mealy mouthed guy,
Sure you would.
I don't know. He seems really fucking annoying. Apparently, even living where he's living, he still travels down to New York City to still go to protests whenever he feels like it. So no, I don't think we would get along very well, me and this guy. So I don't know. For me, I think the movie. God, I actually came in with a slightly higher score too, John, and mine's actually a little bit lower too. I think I'm gonna go 3.9.
Okay, 3.9.
It wasn't much lower than what I came in with, but slightly.
A 4.
Yeah, exactly. Kyle?
Yeah, so the music actually brought me back to the Godfather days. It's like, when Pacino first came on the screen or something like that, and he's a cop or whatever, and he's in that graduation-esque like with family and everything, and they start playing like the guitar and stuff like that, and I'm like, wait, do I hear the Godfather theme in this? I'm confused. Is this like a parallel universe type thing? Is this guy? John told me that this guy was real. Like, this is based off a real story. This isn't just like some sort of parallel universe thing that Pacino goes from the mob to a cop. But yeah, the movie itself, I didn't realize this. I just read this on the trivia piece. It was actually filmed in reverse order. And he started out with all the hair and the beard and stuff like that, but then they started trimming it and making it cleaner as they filmed.
That makes
sense. And then they flipped it, obviously. So some movie magic there.
Well, and that goes a lot with set design too. Typically, they'll age it first. They won't age it. They'll make it with the raw materials and things like that, and because aging is a lot more expensive than making it pretty.
Right. Yeah, you can definitely clean a lot better than age it. But yeah, like everybody made some really good points on like the cinematography and everything. I did at one point laugh that it sounded like the music from Shaft started playing. I think it was during that meeting where he was walking up in the park, and you hear this, I was like, Shaft, damn right, yeah, he's just walking through. But when I got done watching it, I remember texting John. I was like, yeah, this is actually a really good movie, just because I do like watching movies about real people. And since a lot of this in this movie got it right-ish, a lot more than Hidden Figures. Thank you for bringing that up, John. I was like, yeah, okay, good job. This is kind of like a documentary-esque movie with some narrative, in it. But I don't know. That's like the only thing that was really good was Pacino, and you can't really have a good movie with just one person in it. I mean, everything has to be good in order for it to be a good movie. So I'm still gonna give this a little bit higher score. I'm gonna give this a straight 6.
Okay, so a 6 for Kyle. So that means that Serpico gets a 5.4. An average score between all of us.
Yeah.
So if you agree with that, let us know in the comments and everything. Even if you don't agree, I don't care. Let us know in the comments. But now we need to see who. Well, actually, we don't need to see who. Eddie is the only one left on this round, so he's going to be picking whatever genre is going to land up on this wheel here. So John,
help us all.
Alrighty, here we go.
The Skin I Live In too.
Oh, no, please don't.
Electric Boogaloo.
Please don't.
Oh, Lord.
Come on.
You win the day, Eddie. I'm very proud of you that you did not get romance.
Damn.
I had a good horror romance, too.
I figured you did.
So I'm going to pick Coherence from 2013, Justin. Coherence is about strange things beginning to happen when a group of friends gather for a dinner party on an evening when a comet is passing overhead.
Yeah. So I actually just recently watched this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, probably about a month or so ago.
Okay.
It is an interesting movie, for sure.
Yeah. I like it. it's one of those that it's kind of off the beaten path, but I enjoy it.
This
Yeah,
has been
it's-
on my list from Eddie that I need to watch for a while, so I'm glad it's come up finally.
And here we are.
Well, I was gonna go with Dune from 1984, but I figured we just
Thank
got
God
done
you didn't.
watching a really, really long movie. I don't feel like watching a really, really long movie again. That being said, John, Dune will come up, so you might as well get over your shit with Dune because it's
All right,
a good
so,
movie, man. Sorry.
So, John, next time the wheel spins, just kind of give it an extra nudge on sci-fi. Just keep it away from sci-fi and
Give it
any
away.
other genre that Dune is in, which is probably.
I think Dune's in every genre.
Yeah,
It's so long, it's bound to land
not,
on everything.
It's not in film noir.
That's true.
Yeah, that's because nothing good is in film noir. Exactly.
So thank you guys for listening to the podcast or watching the podcast, however you're consuming the podcast. So again, if you are watching us on YouTube, please hit the like button below. That really helps us out. And just go to justwatch.com, look up Coherence. It's a movie from 2013. You can see everywhere that it's playing or streaming. And then check us out next Saturday where we'll be reviewing that. So thanks a lot, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Later.